In the beginning of the film, we meet a couple, Sarah and John. John was always busy with his work, while Sarah was pregnant at the time. One day, when she was very sick, she called John, but he did not answer any of her calls. When she returned home, she discovered the most shocking news. Their son was dead. From that day on, Sarah became increasingly worried and sad. She stopped leaving the house. To help her recover, John decided they should move to a new home to provide a distraction. Sarah did not oppose the idea. They began searching for a house online, visiting many properties, but after a month or two of searching, they couldn't find anything suitable. They started to feel their idea was pointless. Just as they were about to give up, a woman told them about her friend who owned a mansion and was looking to sell it. John and Sarah went to the mansion's address. The house was in a desolate area, and at first, they felt a strange unease, as though the house was haunted. However, upon entering, they realized it wasn't just a house, it was a beautiful mansion. They met the owner, Amy, who showed them around the property. She told them the house had been built in 1980 and had taken 20 years to renovate. The house's intricate details reflected this effort. Sarah felt the mansion was like her dream home. It had everything she had ever wanted. Amy offered them lunch during the visit and asked why they wanted to live in such a remote place. Sarah replied that they had faced many difficulties in their lives and just wanted to start fresh in a quiet area. Hearing this, Amy suggested they stay in the house for a day or two and discuss the deal later. Excited by the opportunity, John and Sarah decided to stay. Amy gave them only one rule. Under no circumstances should they open the basement door. The next morning, Amy was nowhere to be found. Instead, they found a letter from her, stating that she was gifting them the house. Shocked, they couldn't understand why a stranger would give them such a grand house for free. The letter reiterated the same condition, not to open the basement door. John was suspicious. He believed either someone was playing a prank on them or a dark secret was hidden behind the basement door. Just then, the friend who had initially told them about Amy arrived with the property papers, confirming that the mansion was now legally theirs. Sarah persuaded John to accept the house, saying it would save them the cost of renovations and provide everything they needed. Reluctantly, John agreed, and they moved into the mansion. The couple spent a few happy days in the house and even hosted a welcome party. Among the guests was Lisa, John's ex-girlfriend. Although John had an affair with Lisa after his marriage, he had ended the relationship after their son's death. Seeing Lisa at the party made John uneasy, as he feared Sarah might discover the truth. He pulled Lisa aside and asked why she was there. Lisa claimed she had been invited by a mutual friend. Before their conversation could continue, John heard Sarah's frightened voice from outside. He rushed out to find strangers holding petrol bottles, threatening to burn down the mansion if they didn't leave. The next day at work, John was suspended after Lisa filed a false report against him. This, along with the earlier threats, deeply troubled John. However, he chose not to share these worries with Sarah, fearing she might uncover his past with Lisa. Meanwhile, his curiosity about the basement grew. One day, he stood before the basement door, wondering why Amy had forbidden them from opening it. He tried to open it using a rod, but the lock wouldn't budge. Determined to uncover the truth, John decided to retrieve the house's blueprint from the architectural firm that had designed it. At the firm, an employee revealed that previous owners of the mansion had also requested the blueprints, but had never returned. He also mentioned that Amy had lived there 20 years ago, but her wife and daughter had left her suddenly for unknown reasons. This revelation deepened John's suspicion that a dark secret was hidden in the basement. He returned home, broke the basement lock, and stepped inside. Initially, everything seemed normal, but then he discovered a hidden cellar under the floorboards. As he was investigating, Sarah called out to him. He quickly locked the basement and acted as though nothing had happened. That night, John received a call from Lisa, who threatened him and demanded a meeting. The next day, John met Lisa to persuade her to retract her accusations. Lisa, enraged that John only cared about clearing his name, vowed to take revenge. She decided to reveal John's affair to Sarah. Meanwhile, Sarah, suspecting she might be pregnant, took a test that confirmed her suspicion. Overjoyed, she wanted to share the news with John but accidentally found the blueprints he had left out. Realizing that John had been investigating the basement, Sarah decided to explore it herself. While Sarah was in the basement, Lisa arrived at the house, intending to expose John's betrayal. However, she couldn't find Sarah and instead discovered the pregnancy test. Consumed by jealousy and anger, Lisa's hatred for Sarah deepened. When Sarah returned upstairs, she found the front door open but didn't realize someone had entered. John arrived home just as Lisa's car was leaving the property. Fearing Lisa had told Sarah everything, he followed her but couldn't learn anything. When he returned home, Sarah confronted him about the basement. John lied, claiming he had opened it, but found nothing. Sarah then shared her pregnancy news, bringing joy to John. Shortly afterward, John's work troubles ended when the investigation cleared him of Lisa's accusations. Relieved, John focused on preparing the nursery for their baby. While working, he discovered a bullet lodged in the wall, which seemed to be part of Amy's old collection. This discovery led him to suspect Amy might have killed her family and hidden their bodies in the basement. He shared his suspicions with Sarah, but before they could discuss further, police arrived with shocking news. Lisa had been murdered. During questioning, Sarah lied to protect John, claiming he had been home all day. Once the police left, she confronted John about his affair. She revealed she had known about it since the day their son died, but had stayed quiet for the sake of their family. However, she could no longer tolerate living with him, especially now that he was suspected of murder. John begged for forgiveness, but Sarah was resolute. Alone and distressed, John realized that all their troubles had started after moving into the mansion. Determined to uncover the truth, John visited the house's previous owner, who admitted that the mansion had ruined his life but refused to reveal what was in the basement. Frustrated, John returned home and attempted to break into the basement again. Sarah stopped him, striking him unconscious with a heavy stick. When John regained consciousness, Sarah confessed to killing Lisa. She explained that Lisa had mocked her, claiming the house and John should belong to her. In a fit of rage, Sarah had shot Lisa, later strangling her to ensure she wouldn't survive. She then disposed of Lisa's body in the basement and covered her tracks. Sarah warned John that if anyone discovered Lisa's body, all evidence would point to him. Reluctantly, John agreed to keep the secret. They sealed the basement and continued living in the mansion. Over time, Sarah appeared content, but John remained troubled. One day, they received a package from Amy containing the basement key, with a note saying they had passed her test. However, the basement now held their own dark secret. Whether they would open it or not remained a mystery, and the film ends on this unresolved note.